You gonna say hi to the people? Are you gonna say hi? I love you too. Hey everybody, it's Allie from Pad, Foot, Palms, Poodles, and Pals, and this is Iceland, for those of you who are new and haven't met her before. And she decided that she wanted to come and hang out with me during the live session today. So, yeah, she's hanging out. She's like, put me down, I want to run around. Okay, here you go. Good girl. Hey guys. Okay, so I figured I'd give everybody a few minutes to join the live session. So if somebody would do me a huge favor and just type me a comment down in the comment section, that way I'll know that the comments are working. Hey, Anthony says, hi, Allie. Hi, Anthony. Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Sometimes when we start these live sessions, you'll see if you go and watch the other sessions, I have them loaded onto the YouTube channel. Sometimes the comments aren't working and then we have to start over again. It's a hot mess. Everybody will be messaging me, Allie, you can't see our questions. So anyway, happy Friday, everyone. Was I the only one that felt like this week was just crazy? I mean, it was like things were going wrong left and right. Right, Iceland? She agrees. Right. Wasn't it? It was just crazy. Don't punch me in the face. This is her favorite spot right here under your chin. So anyway, this week has been crazy. For those of you who don't know or who may be new, I am currently in the process of moving. So our Friday night live sessions have been postponed for quite some time, and I look forward to being able to get back on a regular schedule and to do them again. So, okay, let me move you guys in closer here. Please ignore the stuff behind me. That's just us packing in progress. Okay, so I had quite a few topics that I wanted to discuss tonight. And for the regulars, you guys know that when I start talking, I just jabber until people start posting questions in the comment section. So, yeah, I'm just going to jump right into it. So, one of the first things that I wanted to touch on, and I've been seeing a lot of posts about this lately, is, hey, Crystal! Crystal says I'm doing overtime, so if I leave this live, that's why. It's totally okay. Crystal is always working. It's crazy. Well, I'm glad that you're here now. So there's been a lot of conversation in the group about spay and neuter. And it's actually been a hot topic in a lot of different groups that I'm in, because people have, gotten puppies recently and they're getting to that age where the vet is starting to pressure them to spay and neuter. And there were quite a few questions that people had. And so I just wanted to kind of touch on that, because I know that the information you get from your vet may be different than what you hear online, and it can be very confusing, especially for new puppy owners. Or even those who have had dogs before, but who are not as familiar with the latest research. So I figured I'd touch on it. So, when is an appropriate time to spay or neuter your dog? Well, let's start with spay. I have a video about this if you're looking for some in-depth information about when to spay your female. But it needs to be at least after the first heat. Why is that? Well, that's because before their first heat cycle, females have basically infant size parts, right? And they don't grow their adult size parts until that heat cycle. And if you get them spayed before that first heat cycle, then you are opening yourself up to lifelong problems with UTI, That's really the biggest one. There are some other kinds of infections. It can lead to house training issues where, you know, they can't hold it for as long. It can be very problematic. Incontinence is a big one. And one of the reasons why I get so frustrated with vets is because they're very quick to tell you what can happen if you don't get your female spayed, but they don't tell you about these very common side effects like incontinence. It's called spay incontinence when you get your dog spayed. They don't give you a pamphlet about, you know, like, you know, when you get a vaccine, right? And they give you the pamphlet that tells you all of the side effects and what to look for and some of the things you might be feeling later and how to care for the, you know, incision site, right? Or in the case of a shot, the shot site, right? They don't give you anything like that. Animals don't get that kind of regard. And I don't understand why, right? I mean, they're our furry family members. Okay, so Iceland found a toilet paper roll. Hang on. Iceland? What did you get? She's laying on Velocity's bed. She's so silly. Please excuse the mess. Like I said, we are currently in the process of packing. And now she's just as happy as can be. So, hey, Anna's here. Hey, excellent. Crystal said she's the cutest. She is. She's also the most rotten of the group because Suze spoils her. She is the princess. It's ridiculous. She bosses the other dogs around. Anyway, I won't get off on a tangent. So, spay, at least after a first heat. Right? Give your female that opportunity. Hi, Crystal. Give that female an opportunity to grow her adult parts, right? So that she doesn't have side effects down the road. Then if you feel that it is an urgent need to get her spayed, then you can do it afterwards. Of course, when your female's in heat, you're going to want to keep her home, right? No trips to the park, no going to doggy daycare. A heat cycle lasts about 28, 30 days, depending on the dog. But they don't bleed for that long. So don't panic. Excuse me. So ideally, you want to wait until after 2 years, regardless of the size of the dog. I know that there have been some recent studies that are showing for large breeds and extra large breeds, it's vital that they not be spayed or neutered before 2 years. Really, that it's true of all dogs, right? They all have the same basic physiology. So, Iceland, you okay? Okay, she's okay. They have the same basic physiology, right? They just come in different sizes with different coats because we're humans and, we like to make things look pretty. So, it's true regardless of the size. You want to wait until after they're 2 years old. Now, let's say that you also have, that you have a female, you have an unneutered male in your house, and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? How do I keep them apart? Okay, great question. So a lot of times people will board their male, right? They'll board him for that kind of week and a half that the female is at her most fertile time period, right? That's a really great way. Sometimes they'll do a combination of boarding, staying with a friend or family member, right? That can kind of help offset the cost. The other thing that you might want to consider, which is a much easier procedure for males, is to do what's called a vasectomy. It's the same process that's done for humans. They can do it for dogs. It's usually a reproductive vet who's going to be the one who does that type of procedure. Your traditional vet is probably going to look at you like you're crazy if you ask them about it. But you're not. You're actually just staying on top of the latest research. The procedure itself is a little more time consuming. It does require additional education for your veterinarian, which is why most vets most traditional vets, I should say, don't know how to do it because they haven't gone and taken the surgical classes to do it. According to my reproductive vet, those classes are not difficult, right? They're not all that time consuming. It builds off of knowledge that they already know, right? If they're familiar with doing spays and neuters, it just changes some of the procedures. So really there's no excuse why they shouldn't be doing it. But that's just my opinion. So that is spay. You want to wait until after the first heat, ideally after 2 years old, right? Then you could do a spay. You can also do an ovary sparing spay, which is where they leave the ovaries intact, right? But they remove the uterus. So even if she was to, tie up with a male, they're not going to be having any babies. But she still gets the benefit of having those hormones intact. And if you are at all concerned about the hormones and how important they are, then I highly recommend that you speak to any woman in your life who has gone through menopause. And she will tell you all of the different bodily functions that it can affect. It can affect your hair, it can affect your nails, your energy level, your skin, right? It can of course have reproductive side effects as well, but the hormones do so much more than just regulate reproduction, which is what vets make it out to be. Anna said hormones matters. Yes, she works in the operating room. So yeah, and if you're interested in reading those studies, I have them all linked in the group. There's also another group that is specific to ovary sparing spay and vasectomy. There's a lot of really great information there, and you can see different people with different breeds, different sizes. They went through the surgery, what worked for them. So you can get a lot of firsthand experiences from reading the testimonials from those people. So yeah, so an ovary sparing spay, a vasectomy. Now, one of the questions that I get about ovary sparing spay and vasectomy is, okay, when can I have it done, right? Technically, you can get it done whenever your vet says that your puppy is big enough. Personally, I recommend that for a female, you wait until she's had her first heat cycle, because sometimes, right, the vet will get in there and they'll see some kind of anomaly and they need to make a split decision on, okay, we need to do a traditional spay, right? For example, if there were, lots of polyps or abnormal growths or something like that. It's not common, but it does happen. That way, if that was to happen, your female will have already gone through her first heat, and so if you have to do a medically necessary traditional spay, you would be covered, right? So that's why I say wait until after the first heat. Now, for a male, hi sweetie. For a male, you can do a vasectomy at any time. Depending on your breed, I highly recommend you wait until your dog is at least 5 pounds. And for reference, Iceland is almost 5 pounds. Isn't that right? You tell him. Look, she's like, don't talk about my weight. That's not appropriate. Okay, off you go. Bye-bye. So, the bigger your puppy is, the better they will be able to handle the anesthesia. You also want to do some research about the different types of anesthesia that's available on the market. And I always make reference to this because this is the anesthesia that they used with Iceland when she had her C-section. I always forget the name because it's an odd name, but it starts with the letter R, and basically it's the latest version of anesthesia, and it is in and out of the dog's system in less than a minute, which is great because it's usually that time that they're getting the anesthesia out of the dog that can be the most problematic whenever your dog has surgery. So you definitely want to ask the veterinarian what it is specifically, what the name of the drug is that they're using, and do some research because it can really make a difference. Okay, so the other thing with neuter, and we had this come up in the group. So there is a condition where in males, both of their testicles may not drop, right? One may drop or none may drop. What do you do then? Well, that is a medically necessary traditional neuter. If they have one that drops and you find a vet who's willing to do a vasectomy on that one that dropped and then remove the other one, you can do that. All of the veterinarians that I have spoken with and everyone who's had that happen, who's tried to find a vet to do it, has reported back to me that the vets have refused. It's a little bit more of a complicated procedure, and I find that vets are often very concerned about malpractice suits, so they tend not to go out on a limb when it comes to, doing something other than the standard surgery. So if they have one drop, you absolutely can get a vasectomy for that one, but the vet does have to remove the other testicle that did not descend. What can happen if you leave that one there for too long is it can cut off, it can have the blood supply cut off to it. It can wrap around other organs and cut off blood supply. So it can become cancerous. It can be problematic. So you definitely want to get that removed. The most, or I should say the longest you can wait to see if they'll drop is going to be between 8 months and a year, depending on the breed. Some larger breeds, it can take them a little longer to mature, but usually by 6 months, you're gonna know if it's not coming down or not. So I would say as long as, your puppy is getting healthy checkups from the vet, right? And the vet's not overly concerned. Your dog's not having any potty training issues, right? Because that could be one of the first signs that it's, wrapped around and potentially cutting off. Iceland, stop. That's what I'm talking about. She's scratching me and she's like, pay attention. So, yeah, that's one of those cases where you just gotta get it done. So the other thing to consider, and I'll move on to another topic for you guys, is that you may have to drive a little bit further to find a reproductive vet or a vet who is versed in doing ovary sparing spay or vasectomy. And traditionally speaking, it's going to be slightly more expensive. But it shouldn't be outrageous unless you have an extra large breed. If you've got a Newfie, then it's going to be more expensive, right? Just like when you go and get your dog groomed, if it's a big, huge dog, right, they charge you more. So it's kind of the same idea. Okay, so we got those two off our list. Iceland, what do you think? Okay, let me go back and see if anybody has posted any questions. Okay, Katie's calling me, sorry. Okay, Katie brings up a good point. I know lots of breeders who put belly bands or diapers on their boys while their female is in heat. Yes, so that is a common practice, but I do want to say, from experience, do not ever think that putting a belly band on your male and a diaper on your female is going to keep them from hooking up. Males are very persistent, they're very sneaky, and they will absolutely get the job done. So do not have a false sense of security. What I like to do is diapers on the female, belly bands on the male, and then they rotate. They are separated by pens, they're separated by gates, and we rotate out. And like, okay, so the girls are going outside. Okay, great. And come back in. Okay, now boys are going outside. And you just have to put up with it for, you know, a week or so. So yeah, belly bands and diapers are great, especially for in the house and dealing with, you know, all of that goes along with being a breeder. But yeah, definitely do not think that that's going to save them from or keep them from doing the nasty, because they will. Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, Anna said my Polgas will have her vasectomy in PA next month. My girl Surat, oh, that's a cool name, will not have ovary sparing Spay. She is the one with PDA and had surgery. Gotcha. Those are some great names. Okay, just scrolling down to see. Anna was quoted 800 in PA. Yeah, that seems like pretty standard. Katie's laughing at me. She said, they're super sneaky. Yes, they are. They're sneaky little buggers. Right, Iceland? Okay. All right. So let's move on to our next topic. I know that we've had a bunch more people join. I'm so glad that you guys are here. If at any point you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section. They can be questions about anything, and I will come back to them in between my rambling. Iceland, will you quit? That's Shazam out there barking. Okay. Oh, Brenda said something. That is what I do. I separate to different rooms with gates and wraps. Yes. That's excellent, Brenda. That's the way to go. I have a breeder friend who breeds large breed dogs, and her male was so in love with this female, he chewed through a crate, through a door, and then jumped a huge gate to get to her. I have seen other breeders post that their male broke through a glass window to get to the female who was currently outside. Where there's a will, there's a way. So just always keep that in mind. Okay. All right. Iceland, we're going to talk about patellas. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's talk about patellas. So I've been seeing a lot of posts in the group lately about luxating patellas. Oh, Brenda said, I have Iceland too. She was born February 14th this year during an ice storm. That's fantastic. Iceland was born on February 12th, 3 years ago. She's 3 years old. Yeah, she's a good girl. Except when she's being rotten, like right now. So, patellas. Now, this is a much more common issue in smaller breeds, but I've been seeing a ton of posts in the group, so I wanted to talk about it. Now, if you take your puppy to the vet and your vet says that your puppy has a luxating patella, the very first thing that you need to do is ask them, what grade is it? I'm finding that more and more people are going to the vet. The vet says your puppy has a luxating patella. They're going to need surgery. So yeah, let's schedule that surgery. And then they don't give the owner any information about what is a luxating patella? What is it that's happening? How bad is it that it needs surgery, right? What are some other options? So if you take your dog or your puppy in and the vet says luxating patella, ask them what grade it is. So it goes from 1 to 4, 1 being the least affected, right? The best option. And then 4 being the absolute worst, 100% they are going to need surgery. And then of course there's 2 and 3, which fall in the middle. And basically what luxating patella is, and I have a video that talks about this more in depth, is let's pretend this is the kneecap. What happens is there are tendons that run on the front of the knee. And for those of you who don't know, I do this all the time where I use my hands. I really need like some of those models like you see that the vets have so that I can show you. I need to invest in those. In the meantime, I'm just going to use my hands. So there are tendons that run over, right? And the kneecap sits on top of the knee. So with a luxating patella, that kneecap slides off in either direction, and the grade, right, 1 through 4, tells you how severely it pops off. So, for example, my mom's Pomeranian has a grade 3. And what his kneecap does is it pops off to the side and it stays there. But if he stretches his leg, he can pop it back in. And you'll see dogs that do that. They stretch their legs out behind them. Hi.
Hey, is Iceland in there with you?
Yeah, Iceland's hanging out with me.
Did you know where the vacuum is?
It's over by the laundry. Yeah. Did you want to take Iceland with you? Because...
She's done?
Yeah, well, she was entertained for a little while. Now she just wants to scratch me.
She'll hang out with me.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
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 Okay, bye. Okay, so, luxating patellas. Grade 1, grade 2 can usually, if they are diagnosed correctly, be mitigated with keeping your dog at an appropriate weight, which I know can be challenging sometimes, through nutrition, right? Diet and supplementation. And even a 3 and a 4, a 4 is a little bit harder, but even a 3 can be mitigated with just those things. A lot of it is going to depend on the dog. It's also going to depend on the owner. For example, Bear, my 11-year-old senior Pomeranian, he has a grade 3 luxating patella. We keep him very fit and trim, certainly not underweight, but we do not allow him to gain weight at all. He is on 100% home-cooked diet. Sometimes he does raw, sometimes he does home-cooked. And if you are looking for complete and balanced recipes, they are for free, located in the file section of the group, so you can absolutely follow those. I tend to stay away from ingredients that can be very inflammatory. Unfortunately, those ingredients are usually found in kibble, so I highly recommend for dogs or puppies who have luxating patella that you get them on a fresh food diet immediately. It is the best thing that you can do for them when the body has all of those nutrients available, especially if you have a puppy. They can really put it to good use. In addition to keeping their weight low, right, but not underweight, just very fit and trim, you can do supplementation. You'll see that people use a lot of fish oils to reduce inflammation in the joints. Green-lipped mussel is great for lubricating the joints. You can use something like what I'm currently using for Bear, which is the New Joint DS. DS stands for double strength. I have a link to that in the announcements of the group if you want to check that out. I like doing the New Joint DS because it takes all the guesswork out of it. It's very simple. So I can just put a couple of squirts of an omega-369 or a krill oil or a sardine oil in the food. I like to rotate oils. And then I can give him the little wafer because he thinks it's a treat. I guess they taste really good. So he will just eat it, even though it's a vitamin. And he does fantastic. He does not have any issues. I have videos of him outside running up and down hills. He can keep up with all of The standard poodles, for the most part, they're pretty fast. But he is extremely active for an 11-year-old with a grade 3 luxating patella. The vet always gives him glowing reviews, and he always wants to know what we're feeding him. And when I tell him, then he wants to change the subject, which is fine. He and I have an agreement where we agree to disagree when it comes to food. But my vet is a very nice guy. So, it's definitely something that you want to look into. It's something that you want to research. We found that with Bear, moving him to 100% fresh food diet, we saw a difference within 2.5 weeks. We were able to get some very stubborn weight off of him because he loves to eat. He is an eater. I know some Poms are very picky. He will eat everything. We think that it comes from, before the time that we rescued him, he lived out in the woods for a very long time and just kind of scavenged on his own. So we think that's why he's a good eater, because most Poms are not. But we're very grateful. So yeah, so he will eat and get overweight very quickly. And you've just got to keep him fit and trim. You just have to. Because that, on a small dog especially, just 1 or 2 additional pounds puts a lot of weight on their joint because they're so much smaller, right, than we are. Okay, I think Michelle is asking a question, so hang on. Is there something extra I can give in addition to the New Joint DS? It still pops out and trying to lose weight. Okay, the losing weight will definitely help. I just do not want to overdose on extras. I completely understand. So, if you wanted to, you could do a 369 oil or a krill oil or a sardine oil. I try to stay away from salmon oil, just because the quality can be really garbage, especially in pet foods. If you want to do a salmon oil, I would get one that is marketed towards humans. It tends to be a better quality. But yeah, I would do that and absolutely try to get the weight down. One of the tricks that you can do to get your dog's weight down is you can take 20% of their food out of their bowl, right? And replace it with fibrous veggies. Broccoli, cauliflower, pumpkin, squash, zucchini. These are all really great options to help kind of get that fiber in, right? Which we all know fiber is good. And it will also help fill them up so that they're not feeling like, Mom, where did all my food go, right? So those are definitely some good options. The other thing you can do is switch out any treats that you're using. You can switch those out for vegetables as well. My dogs really love frozen vegetables, which is fantastic. They keep longer and fresher in the freezer, and they think they're getting like a little broccoli popsicle when I give it to them. Yeah, so I would definitely give that a try. And for any 369, any type of omega oils that you're using, get the smallest bottle you possibly can. Preferably you want it to be in a glass bottle, and you want it to be dark, because light, oxygen, those are oil's enemies, right? They will oxidize. Keep it in the fridge, right? And that'll do better for you. The reason why I say get the smallest bottle possible is because it will go rancid very quickly. And I always squirt the oil out into a container of some kind before I add it to the food. What I'll do is squirt it out and smell it. It's going to smell super fishy and nasty. That's okay. What you don't want is, you know how oil kind of gets that smell and you're like, I don't think this is okay. If that happens, then, just go ahead and toss it and get a new one. But yeah, it always makes me nervous when I see these pet food companies that are selling oils and it's like this big, huge container. And I'm like, unless they have 100 dogs, there's no way they're going to go through that oil fast enough before it goes bad. So just something to keep in mind. Hey, Whitney's here. Hey there. Pat says, my Leia is a foodie too. Yeah, that's always good. Okay, great. Okay, Jennifer says, what are your thoughts on prolotherapy? Interesting. I'm not familiar. I'd have to look it up. Sounds interesting, though. Yeah, Jennifer, I'll have to look that one up for you. Okay, I was just making sure I didn't miss any. Oh, did I miss this one? Katie said, I have an 8-month-old Pom, Mocha, and I don't know if she has had her first heat yet. How can I know if she keeps herself super clean? So usually you'll see that her parts start to swell, and I talk about this in depth in the Spay video, the when to Spay video. But yeah, her parts will start to swell. You'll notice that they'll become considerably bigger. Usually between 8 to 12 months is when it happens. And you'll notice that she doesn't really want to eat. Right? Ladies, we know this feeling. She's just going to be lethargic. She's not really going to want to eat. She's not necessarily acting like she's sick, but she's just kind of blah, right? She may be super needy. She may, if she's normally very needy, she may completely ignore you and just want to stay in the bed all day. Those are some really good signs that she could be going into heat. For my girls, it's mostly that they become extremely needy. So we just try to, be supportive of them through that. There are lots of things that you can get. You can get like a little bodysuit for them to wear. There are lots of really cute diapers. There are reusables that you can use. So there are some really good options. I would start looking at them now. Just make sure if you order anything off of Amazon or Etsy, as far as like the cute little diapers go, make sure that you measure your female, because a lot of them are the sizing is based on the measurement around the waist. So always measure first, that way you get the right size. Okay, great. Okay. Scrolling. Katie said, thank you, you're very welcome. Okay. All right, until we get some more questions, let's check out our list. Okay, patellas and puppies. Oh, if I didn't already mention it, make sure you let your breeder know, right? If you just recently got a puppy, if you have a puppy that you got, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, a year ago, whatever the case may be, let your breeder know. The other thing that you need to consider is, I know that it can be challenging, especially with puppies. You want to keep them on a surface that's easy to clean. It's very, very important that, especially during that first year of life, regardless of the breed, that your puppy has good traction. If you're keeping them in a pen or a crate, right, put a couple towels down, something that's easy to wash. Get one of those waterproof, washable beds. If you're looking for an example, I have one right here. I've talked about these before. This is the Molly Mutt bed. It's available on Chewy.com. It is an absolute lifesaver. These, inside that bed is old pillows, right, that we were just going to throw away, and clothes that we were just going to donate to Goodwill. Hey, I'm back. There's a waterproof lining on the inside, and then there's the outside, right? So you can just take the top of it off, wipe down the waterproof lining, throw the rest of it in the washing machine. Boom, Bob's your uncle. It is a lifesaver if you have puppies. So highly recommend those. I have 4 of them. That is the extra, is the extra large or extra, the biggest one that they make. That's what that is, just so you know, for size reference. So yeah, get one of those. Kong makes a crate bed that's got like a canvas material. That's easy to clean. So yeah, just make sure that your puppy has good traction wherever they're spending a lot of time. I know we all have, you know, vinyl floors, hardwood floors, linoleum. It's all very slippery. So just do the best that you can. It does make a difference when it comes to their joints. So Whitney said, we just got half a cow for our freezer and have the raw bones from it. Is it safe to give them directly to our palm? Okay, so first of all, that's awesome. And second of all, it depends on the bones. So if the butcher did not cut the bones, right? So if you got like a large bone piece, that would be fine. Any place that a bone is cut, there's a risk of the dog being able to break off a piece of the bone. You don't want bones to break, right? Because they come off in shards. So as long as they're not cut, I would say yes, they're good. If it's like a whole big huge knuckle, right, that maybe was cut on one side, but the dog really can't get to it and there's lots of meat on the other side, that could be a good option. You could put it down on a tarp or a towel or give it to them outside and just let them kind of work on it. But any place that a raw bone has been cut can be problematic. So you just want to be careful about that. And for your next half a cow that you get, if the butcher did cut the bones, you can ask them not to. That is an option. Just let them know that you're going to be giving it to your dogs. She said some of these are cut and we have one very large one big enough for our golden retriever. Yeah, so if the golden retriever is willing to share, right, you chew one end, I'll chew the other, little, you know, sharing going on, that would probably work very well. Would it be okay if I post a pic to be sure? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Just post a pic. When the live session's over, I'll check for it. Okay, great. That was a good question. You should also check with your butcher to see if he has any other bones. Like another good option for a palm would be a chicken back, chicken necks, turkey necks, wings. Those are all good options. And a lot of times, you know, butchers, they're like, meh, what do I do with this, right? It's waste to them. So you might be able to get some good stuff for free. Okay, great. All right, moving on to the next topic. By the way, not sponsored, have any of you had the LaCroix limoncello? Oh my gosh, it's like drinking cake. It's great. If you haven't tried it, please try it. Pat brings up a very good point. Thank you. She said, use the other beef bones for bone broth. Absolutely. And yes, that would be great. That would be great. I have a video on how to make bone broth if you want to check that out. Okay, Anna said, how about cleaning stuff? What do you use or recommend? I have carpet and shampoo them once a week. So I try to use natural cleaners whenever I can, right? I think Natural Wonders is one of the ones. There are a couple of different brands. You can always do like a vinegar, a diluted vinegar, right? That can be good. Baking soda can be really great for carpets. It'll get the smell out if there's a smell. They do make pet safe carpet cleaners, and that's what we use in our carpet cleaner. But I just try to if I have a spot, right? Let's say there was an accident and I need to clean a spot. I'll just clean that one spot rather than cleaning a big area, just to try, and I'll turn the fans on and, right, let it air out before any dogs go back into that room, just to try to cut down on the fumes that they're inhaling, because you have to remember that dogs are much lower to the ground. So once the fumes are coming up to us, right, we're way up here, they're way down here, they're getting it much stronger. So you just got to do the best you can. But I don't have like a specific brand that I recommend. It really just depends on what has the least amount of chemicals, what I can get away with. I tried making, somebody in another group posted, it was like orange peels, vinegar, water, and something else. And it was like a natural cleaner. And I was like, oh, okay, so it'll kind of be citrus scented. That makes sense. That would be good. I'll give it a try. So I made it and I set it on the counter, and then I got carried away doing other stuff. And I went to come back and it had eaten through, the liquid now had eaten through the spray bottle. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I won't be using that. That vinegar is very serious. So, hey, Fran says hello from the Philippines. Hello. I'm so glad that you're here. That's awesome. Anna says, true, whenever I use carpet shampoo, they stay in their crate. Yeah, excellent. That's good. Yeah, I just like to air it out, you know, because they're down there on the floor sniffing and laying down, and yeah, I think it's good. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, ESAs, right? Emotional service animals and service dogs. So, oh, Crystal said, hey, Allie, I had to leave the live, but I'm back and wondering if you answered the question I asked. Oh, well, that's a good question. I don't know if I did or not. Let me go back. What was your question? It keeps telling me all these people are watching. All right, Crystal, I don't see your question. Oh, here it is. Okay, great. Would it be better to wait until the male is a year old to do the vasectomy? It really depends on his size. Or is it just ideal to wait until they're over 5 pounds? Yes. Sorry, I didn't see the second part of the question. Yeah, it's really, with a vasectomy, it's going to be about the size. You want to make sure that your male is big enough. The older and bigger they are, the better they will be able to handle the anesthesia. So if you can wait a year, 2 years, right, until they're full grown and then do it, then that's good. If you need to have it done sooner, like if you have an unaltered female in the house, you know, or your parents are pressuring you, your vet's pressuring you, society's pressuring you, right? Whatever the case may be, if you need to do it sooner, you just want to wait. 5 pounds is really kind of the limit, in my opinion. Vets will do it under that, but I just don't, I think it's too much of a risk. So I say, hold on for one more day. You gotta hold on for one more day. Things will go your way. Okay, so yeah, I would just hold out as long as you can. So, guys, it's Friday. I'm in a good mood. I hope you're in a good mood. Everybody should be in a good mood. Okay, I'm glad that you're back. Thank you for double checking because I did not see your question. Okay, Shelly's got a question. Bully sticks. Too high in protein for a 4-pound poodle puppy? No. No, not at all. As long as they are size appropriate. Now, let me preface this and then I'm going to read the rest of it because I think you have a second question there. So you always, always, always want to make sure with any type of chew or bone or vegetable that you are giving to a puppy, you want to make sure it's size appropriate. That means bigger than their head. I am seeing so many of these bully sticks that are bully bites that are like 2 or 3 inches long. No. They should call them bully choking hazards. It's terrible. They're just putting the tips and ends in a bag and trying to sell them to people who don't know any better. But all of you who are here tonight are going to know better. Do not purchase those. If you have them, throw them away, please and thank you. I will love you forever. So make sure it's size appropriate. So I'm thinking a 4-pound poodle puppy, assuming that this is a toy or a miniature poodle, you're going to be looking at 6 inches minimum. I really love all of the bully buddies. There are a couple of different varieties where you can put the bully stick into a toy or a contraption that kind of tightens down and holds it. That keeps the dog, or in your case a puppy, from chewing all the way down to get it small enough where it could be a choking hazard. They're usually anywhere from 15 to 20 bucks. It's worth it. It's worth it for a peace of mind. I always recommend giving treats and chews under supervision, but let's be honest, we all have lives, we have screaming children, we have other dogs that are jumping all over us, we have, spouses that are like, hey, can you make me a sandwich? And I'm like, no, make your own sandwich, but I really want a sandwich, and I'm like, I'm busy right now. Things happen, and you can be distracted, so I highly recommend those. It's worth every penny. Now, as far as it being high protein, if your puppy has never had a bully stick before, I recommend that you let them have it, chew it for a little while, and Shelly, we're going to institute some training. So what you're going to do is called the trade-up game. You're going to give the puppy the bully stick, and they're going to be like, Mom, you're the best ever. I love this bully stick. I run around. I lay down and chew it. It's so good, right? And they get really excited. And what you're going to do is have a very, very high value treat. It could be a piece of cooked ground beef. It could be a little freeze-dried nugget. It could be a small piece of cheese, if that's what you want to give them, or a small piece of lunch meat. I don't recommend the last two on a regular basis, but it needs to be high value, something they don't get very often. And what you're going to do is you're going to play the trade-up game with your puppy. So you're going to give them the bully stick. You're going to let them chew it for a little while. After they've chewed it for a little while, you're going to come in with the other treat, but you're going to be just far enough away that the puppy has to choose to leave the bully stick behind to come get the really good treat, right? And you're going to tell them, treat. Do you want a treat, right? And they come over and they get the good treat. Well, while they're getting that good treat out of your hands, you're going to take that bully stick. And what you're teaching your puppy is that, hey, when I come up to you and you have a high value item, I'm going to give you something even better. And this keeps puppies from getting that overly protective, resource guarding behavior. So yeah, so don't let your puppy sit there and chew an entire bully stick, because yes, they will absolutely get diarrhea. But if you do the trade-up game, right, you can then take that bully stick, which will probably still have a good bit on it, stick it in the freezer, which, by the way, is another trick for puppies when they're teething. And then the next day you take it out of the freezer. Hey, you want your treat? Here you go. And then it's nice and cold and frozen and they can chew, 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 right? It makes their gums feel better. So that was a very long answer to just the first part of your question. Shelly, hang in there with me, okay? I'm really talkative tonight. Okay, should they be oven baked? They can be oven baked. They can be dehydrated. I'm not a huge fan of the freeze-dried bully sticks that I've seen. I feel like it pulls too much of the moisture out, and then they become really flaky and it just kind of makes a mess. So oven baked is fine. Dehydrated is fine. Those are both good. Hey.
You know what that is, right?
No, what is
That's
it?
that expensive piece.
Oh, well, hi, Zam Zam. Oh, my goodness.
You
Okay.
You didn't drop anything on it. Did you drop this to the floor?
No. Oh, my goodness. Hi, Shazam.
It's like air, man. This shit breaks.
Okay, let's try not to cuss on the live session.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, children.
All right.
Okay.
On, let's go.
Come on, guys. Hang on, bear with me.
Iceland.
Hey. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. Shazam. Now you see why I come in here without all the dogs. Shazam. I love you so much, puppy. Hi, Iceland.
All right, come on. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Are you?
I didn't realize you threw breakables down here in the floor.
I didn't throw anything in the floor.
Okay, come on. Come on.
Moving is fun. Okay.
Hey, could you just pause for a second and help me?
Yeah.
We gotta pick up the other dogs too, Reed.
All right, everybody, hang on a second. Sam, are you getting crazy? You are getting crazy. I'm gonna take you guys with me. Hang on. Okay. Stay here for just 1 second. I don't know where I'm gonna put you. Hold on. Come on, guys. Let's go. Come on. Hey, come on. Come on. It's okay. It's all right.
You didn't throw it down.
No. Okay, you guys be good.
Almost a $2,000 piece.
Okay, I get it. All right, I'm gonna finish this up. What time is it?
6:18.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up so we can go pick up the girls. I'm back. Okay. Did I lose you guys? Hey, you're all still here. I love you guys. You're great. Okay. Shelly? That was probably more than you bargained for, right? You're like, just answer my question. Okay, so oven baked is fine. Dehydrated is fine. Are they meant to be chewed or eaten? Both. Do they need a holder? See, there we go. So, you don't have to get a holder, but I really like it. I think that it's a good, kind of one-time cost investment piece. I think it's worth it. Okay. Hi from New Zealand. I really like your page. Very helpful. First time puppy mom. Ours comes home next week. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Well, first of all, hello from New Zealand. That's awesome. Why have I not seen pictures of this puppy? I'm heartbroken. I'm gonna need for you to post pictures. I'm very excited for you. First time puppy mom. That's gonna be awesome. Okay, he comes home next week. Okay, so, yeah. Are you excited? Have you puppy proofed? Why haven't you shown me pictures? You're fired. It's okay, you can still make it up to me. Okay, great. Heather says, do you ever use golden paste for anything? I have it. I gave it to my last dog for arthritis. Yes. I like golden paste. I feel like there's a lot of people that recommend it. It's not my go-to because it can stain. It's got turmeric in it. I find that a lot of dogs don't like the flavor of it, so people have to try to, sneak it into their food and things like that. It's absolutely helpful. It is 100% fantastic. There are a lot of recipes that can show you how to make it. It's really great. Just remember that with the turmeric, in conjunction, you have to use black pepper because the black pepper helps the body to better absorb the turmeric. But yeah, golden paste is fantastic. I would always make it yourself. I would be very leery of any companies that are selling golden paste because they have a tendency to put a lot of other junk in there that really doesn't need to be in it. But yeah, it's definitely a good option. Crystal says Rocky weighs 25 pounds and he's 4 months old. Oh yeah, so he's definitely big enough. He's good. Okay. Hey, you can see Sue's back there. She's doing some packing.
Packing it up.
Packing it up. Okay. But I want to wait a little bit until he's older. Would that be okay? Absolutely. Yeah, really with spay and neuter, it's just a matter of, you know, if you don't have a intact female in the home, then you can wait as long as you can wait. And that's perfectly fine. So, yeah, I would just wait. Oh, Sacha says it's Saturday here. Hey, Suze, guess what? We've got somebody from New Zealand.
Hey, we thought about moving to New Zealand.
Yeah, and it's Saturday there right now.
Yes.
How cool is that? That's so awesome.
Bubble wrap.
Yep. Okay,
Hi,
great.
from New Zealand.
Okay.
Sorry, I was focused for a second.
Sarah says, we are in great moods. Happy Friday. Absolutely. I'm going to have to leave here and go pick up the girls from school. Velocity and Sega went to school. We call it school. They went to doggy daycare where they also do training. So we have to go pick them up shortly. So I'll have to wrap it up here. All right. Sacha says, are there chews that are fine for 8-week-old pups? Standard Labradoodle size, yes. Or should you wait until they're like 3 months plus? No. So I start, for the puppies that I breed, I start getting them exposed to chews and bones as early as 5 weeks when teeth start to erupt. Not all breeders do that, but you should absolutely give your 8-week-old puppy a bone or a chew. There are files in the group. There's 2. One of them is called Healthy Chews. The other is called Bones. And if you read through there, it's going to give you some different options as far as what would be size appropriate, what would be appropriate if your puppy is a moderate chewer or an aggressive chewer. Some puppies get very excited about chewing, and some are just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to chew if you're sitting here with me, but if you move, I'm going to go with you. So it really just depends on your puppy and what their style is. So definitely check those 2 files out. Are you okay back there?
I turned over a drink.
She's fired.
Because there's like 50 cups in here.
Did it spill?
Yeah.
Oh, do you need something to...
Yeah, because it's going to ruin the table.
All right, here.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm just busy, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Knocking stuff over.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for the
Whitney says, you must have a camera hidden in our house. Too funny. Okay.
Sorry,
Ling,
too much.
yeah, you're fired.
Well,
it's okay.
I'm trying to pack.
Now you see why I haven't been doing live sessions. Our life is just chaos right now. If you saw our house, you would be like, where's all the furniture? Ling says, we love seeing the doggos. Yeah, they're so good. Except for when they came barreling in here and attacked me because they were like, hey, Mom, what are you doing? They're too funny. Okay. Katie said moving is so awful. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
But we're very excited about moving, and I plan on doing a video all about the move, how to move with multiple dogs, because it's going to be very interesting. So Ling's laughing at us because we say pick the girls up from school. Our trainer laughs at us when we say that too. We're like, okay, we're here to pick up the girls from school. Okay.
I need to get by.
Okay, go ahead. Lean to the left. That was actually to the right, but okay. All right. Teresa says, normally I use diazone or triazone for the yard, but I've seen a lot about Wondercide. Yes. What's the best to use for a country yard with free-running deer, ticks, ticks, ticks? Don't want to use tick drops. So, are you okay?
Showing you?
Yeah, it's just showing me.
Can I shut those?
Yeah, go right ahead. It's gonna get dark. Hang on. Okay. So, when it comes to a yard like what you're describing, a country yard, I would use everything. That's what we do. So you can use Wondercide, which comes with a sprayer that attaches to your hose, and you could just hose down the yard. And what I like to do is use the Wondercide on a day that I know it's not going to rain for a couple of days, so it can really just dry on all of the plants. And then we use the seed spreader to do diatomaceous earth all over the yard. Now, the thing about diatomaceous earth is it kills the bad bugs, but it also kills the good bugs. So it's just something that you want to keep in mind. And also, diatomaceous earth does not work if it gets wet. The only way it works is if it's dry. So if you put it down and then a couple days later it rains, it will completely undo all of the work that you just did. As far as diazone or triazone, I'm not familiar with those. We've been pretty lucky in the area that we've been in. We've been able to get away with just doing Wondercide on the dogs and Wondercide in the yard and the diatomaceous earth. But that may be changing because of where we're moving to. So yeah, I'll have to take a look at the two that you mentioned. I'm not familiar with their ingredients. Okay. Whitney said, during my social media hiatus, I missed that y'all are moving. Yeah, we're moving. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. So thank you. Sasha says, okay, thank you. Good luck with moving. Oh my goodness. We need it desperately. Brenda said, where are you moving to? We are moving to Alabama. So yeah, we're moving to be closer to family. We're very excited about that. So it's gonna be good. I'll be better once the moving part is done. Like when we're on the other side and it's just unpacking and getting the dogs are gonna have a huge fenced in yard. I'm so excited. It's over an acre yard, yeah, that's fenced in. So I'm hoping that I might be able to put up some agility equipment. Like we've got all these plans. We just got to get there first. So okay, Juliana says, oh hey, I just found your YouTube yesterday and you helped me a lot with ingredients on packages. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. I'm so glad. Make sure you check out the problematic ingredients list. It's in the file section of the group. That's also a really good place to start. And the video about reading the ingredients packages, there's 2 of them. And I also did one for reading ingredients at Tractor Supply. So definitely check those out. But yeah, I'm so glad that it helped you. That's fantastic. See, for me, that's what the group is all about. Like, if I can help empower pet parents to be able to go out and read a label on a product and make an informed decision, to me, that is more valuable than gold. That is just phenomenal. So thank you. That made my night. That's great. Okay. Melissa says, Allie, what if you didn't wait to spay my 3-pound toy poodle? What should I except she was spayed at 6 months. I didn't do enough research. I listened to my vet. It's okay. It's okay. There isn't anything you can do now other than change what you would do going forward. So she sounds like she's very, very small. So I think that she'll probably be okay. Make sure that you have plenty of traction in the house. Area rugs, if she's in a pen or a crate at night or while you're away, make sure that there's like a little piece of carpet or something there so she can get good traction. And that will really help a lot. A lot of what happens when dogs are spayed or neutered early on is they end up with ACL tears as they get older, because those joints and ligaments, you know, they didn't get enough time to really solidify, I guess you would say. The growing has not stopped. So yeah, I would just do everything that you can, right? She's very, very small, so you could do a home cooked diet. There are puppy recipes in the files. They're free. Just make sure if you choose a recipe that it does say puppy. Some of them will have bones, which of course you can't cook the bones, but some of them have just calcium powder in there as well. And I find that puppies, they really do well on either a home cooked or a raw diet as far as growing. So I would absolutely consider that if you're up for it. It's very easy to do. And I have some videos on the YouTube channel that show you how to prepare the food. I make it in big batches, put it in the freezer, thaw them out as I need them. So yeah, it's really good. And it would not be expensive at all for a toy poodle. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sneezed.
Okay. Teresa said I probably spelled it wrong. You can get it from Lowe's. It's in a granule form that kills all sorts of bugs in our yard. Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up. But I want to say I've heard of it before. Hey, Yasmin's here. My friend has chickens and lives in heavily wooded land. No ticks since the chickens eat them all. Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm hoping. That's why I want to get chickens.
Okay, chickens it is.
Okay, we're getting chickens. There's also tick strips to put in the yard underground. Not sure the brand names. That is very cool. I would definitely like to find those and link them in the group, because that's fantastic. Or, I'm just throwing this out here, we could all go get chickens. Because how awesome would that be? Okay, more on chickens later. Roxanne said, where do you live now? We live in Georgia. Yeah, we live in Georgia. But it's quite a distance that we're going to be moving, so. Whitney says, I hate moving with a purple passion. Yes, it's rough. It's rough.
Nice selection of color.
Okay, great. Okay, Donna has a question. We have a Pom that is 8 months old. He is doing a lot of play biting. How do we stop it? That is a great question. So, Sue said treats. So, choose. One of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure that you and all of your family members are not using your hand as a toy. I know it can be very tempting to want to play with your dog and use your hands, but, excuse me, it can be very confusing for them, especially when they're puppies. So, hands are not toys. When you play with your dog, make sure you're using a toy, right? Or a chew or whatever you've got that you want to play with them. If your puppy is biting you, then you want to tell them no, right, in a firm voice. Don't yell at them or anything, but no. And then distract them with something that is appropriate to bite, right? So let's say you've got a toy, you're playing with the toy, your puppy gets excited, now he's biting your hand. No. And then you move the toy off to the side. What?
Did it get bright again?
Yes. Yeah, now it lights up my face. You want to distract them with the toy. Okay, good. Donna said we don't use our hands. We always use toys. Excellent. So, if your puppy is still biting you, right, you can get up and leave, but you have to do it right when your puppy bites you. So your puppy bites you, no, and then you get up and leave. And what you teach your puppy is, oh, if I bite you, then you're not going to play with me. Where are you going? I thought we were having a good time. For some puppies, this won't work, right? Some people will tell you to yelp or something like that. I find that sometimes with Poms, that can actually get them excited because they secretly want to be evil inside. But you can also try that. If nothing else works, right, even getting up and leaving doesn't work, your Pom's just biting you as you walk away, then you may want to try two different things. One, your puppy may be becoming way too stimulated when you're playing. So try to play with something that can put some distance between you and the puppy. For example, I like to use a cat toy that has the long pole with the toy on the end, the stuffed animal toy, not like a feather or something like that, but like an actual stuffed animal on the end. They actually make them for bigger dogs. They're called flirt poles. I don't know who came up with that name, but they're called flirt poles. So you can get that and use it, and that way you're playing with your dog, but they're not quite so close to you. So when they become overly excited, their initial reaction is not to come and, bite you, because they're just trying to play with you. Now, I have had quite a few puppies where all of that didn't work. I even tried to keep, the energy level lower, play at a much calmer headspace, right? And not let them get real amped up. I tried to wear them out with a ball first, playing fetch, which if you have not taught your puppy to play fetch, you should absolutely do that. It's a great way to wear them out and bring the energy level down. So I highly recommend it. If none of that works, kind of the last resort thing that I've had to use for a couple of puppies is when they bite you, you place your finger in the roof of their mouth and press up. You're not going to hurt them. It's going to feel uncomfortable. And what I'd like for you to do, everybody who's sitting at home, is actually take your finger and press it on the roof of your mouth. Go ahead, I'll wait. You do it. It feels weird, right? It's like, ugh. So it feels weird to a dog too. And you don't have to press very hard. But what will happen is if you do that a couple of times, they will associate biting you with this weird sensation with something going on the roof of their mouth. And it makes it unpleasant without hurting them. And I've had a couple that were just serious biters, that it didn't matter what I did, they just would not stop. So, if nothing else works, like I said, that's kind of a last resort thing, then I would try that. And you're just going to use the soft part of your finger, right? Not like a fingernail. Again, you're not trying to hurt them. You're just trying to give them this really uncomfortable, like, right? Kind of sensation. And then they go, ugh, I don't want to do that again. So give that a try. Pat says, my Loki, aka Baby Shark, received his embark results today. One of the variants on his test, and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of this word, methemoglobemia. It's like anemia in dogs. Do you know about this? Yes. Is it common? Yes. So, unfortunately, because there are a lot of people out there who are breeding dogs without health testing them, right? Doing the genetic testing. This blood disorder, which is very similar to anemia, is fairly common in Pomeranians. It's common in a couple of other small breeds as well. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't necessarily mean that your breeder is a bad breeder. It does mean that you need to make your vet aware, because if your dog has surgery or if your vet does blood work, it's something that they're going to want to take into account. Now, I would have to look at the results to see if the dog is actually affected, which means they got 2 copies, right? One from each parent, or if they're just a carrier for the variant. If they're a carrier, then they may not be affected at all. It just means that they have the possibility to pass it on to offspring. So, yeah, so I would just take that into your vet and see, so that they can be aware and they can make a note of it in Loki's chart. Okay. Okay, Donna said he's also not coming to us when called. So what I would do is put him on a leash, a long leash, and I would practice your recall. Now, Donna, I am going to tell you that you are the proud owner of a teenager. 8 months old is right at that teenager time where they don't want to listen. They're chewing up stuff that they've never chewed up before. They start having accidents. They start acting like teenagers. They don't listen. I just went through this with Sega, and I was ready to just pull my hair out. Excuse me. She would go outside, and mind you, the poodles, they all have, I would say, 90 to 95% perfect recall. I mean, they really do great. She hit that 8-month mark. It didn't matter if it was rain, sleet, snow, 100 degrees. She was not coming back inside, and I would literally have to go all the way outside, down the stairs and around to the furthest part of the yard, and she would run and prance around like, oh, this is a great game, you have to come and get me. Meanwhile, I'm cussing up a storm, and my neighbors probably think I'm crazy, right? And I'm like, right? So 8 months old is right about the time that they go through this teenager phase. So you just have to be patient, double down on your training, work with them every day, and consider upping the level of your treats. So what I did with Sega, and this works very well if you have multiple dogs, is I call everybody inside. And she would often come all the way up to the deck and then turn around and go, hey, Mom, guess what? I'm going back down. Bye. In which case, I would have the bag of treats, and I would just shake it. Okay, all right, we're going to have some treats. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, everybody, let's go. And then she was standing there looking at me through the glass door, and she's like, well, wait a minute. Everybody's getting treats. Meanwhile, I'm taking handful of freeze-dried nibs, and I'm just throwing it on the floor. And the dogs are going crazy, right? And she's seeing this happen. So when she does decide to come in, I give her one treat, right? Hey, okay, great, you did good. Good job. Here's your one treat. And she's looking at me like, wait a minute, they just got like a whole handful of treats, and I just got one treat? Yeah. If you want the big handful of treats, then you better come in when I call you to come in. So it took about 2 or 3 times of doing that for her to realize, hey, I'm missing out. Now, sometimes she's the first one through the door. So you can use kind of that reverse psychology if you have multiple dogs. If not, then you absolutely can just up the treat level, reward very high when they choose to do the right behaviors, right? Or make sure you have them on a long leash so that you can encourage them, right, to come back to you. And then use those high value treats. The freeze-dried raw is a fantastic option. The raw nibs, you can get only Natural Pet raw nibs. I have multiple dogs, so I like to buy the Vital Essentials 1 pound bag because we, go through it faster. But it's a great training treat. It's a great option for potty training, right? So you can give that really high value protein treat. You can cook up some ground beef, drain the fat off of it, let it cool down, place it in little Ziploc bags and put it in the freezer. And you can give them just like a pinch of that. Oh, they'll think they died and gone to heaven. They're like, oh my gosh, Mom, whatever you want me to do, I will do it because I really want that ground beef that you pull out of that bag. It's so good. So they will listen to you. So just be patient, keep working on the training. And if you can't get them to come consistently, then what you can do is you can do other things like say their name and drop a treat next to you, right? So if they're not coming to a specific command, then you can try doing that. And then they start to associate, hey, when Mom says my name, there's going to be a treat. I need to go over there, right? You can try that too. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys. Suze is a hot mess. I think she's on the iPad. And she just messaged me from my profile. Suze! I'm scrolling through and it's like, hi there, Allie, from Allie Garrison. You guys, that's hilarious. I have to give her kudos for that. That was funny. That threw me for a loop. I was like, how am I saying hi to myself? That's the picture of me. She's on the iPad. Okay. All right. I am going to have to wrap it up here because we have to go pick up the girls from school. So I'm going to try to get a couple more questions in. Hi, Allie. This is from Meg. My 9-month-old baby is suffering from bad allergies right now. This group suggested quercetin with bromelain, also hoping that works. Yes, absolutely try that. Yeah, it's like the natural version of Benadryl. So absolutely, it may just be a matter of getting the dosing right for your dog. So don't get frustrated if there's a little bit of trial and error. Whenever you're using something natural or herbal, you just have to find out what fits for your dog. So, but yeah, absolutely, those are fantastic suggestions. Okay. Suze. She's a hot mess. Okay. Suze is messaging me from my own profile, says get dogs. Okay, so we got to go pick up the girls. I hope that you guys have had a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope that you have a wonderful night tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for hanging around for my antics. Thank you for all of your questions. You guys had some really great questions tonight. Oh, one more thing. Suze is saying bye-bye, everyone. One more thing before I forget. Otherwise, my moderators will kill me. If you are posting in the group, whether it be a comment or a post, and a moderator either deletes your comment and you get a message that you violated a rule, or it may send you a little prompt that lets you know that your comment or post was deleted for a certain reason. Please don't take it personally, right? Don't message the moderator or the admin and get angry. I had somebody who sent me nasty messages earlier today. Don't take it personally. We're not here to try to attack you. We're not trying to make you feel bad. We have put these rules in place to keep the group very streamlined, so that the information that's being provided is not confusing for people when they go through and read the posts. Just try to remember that we are an educational group, and a lot of times people will see me saying the same thing to multiple people, and that's because we're trying to help educate not just them, but everyone who comes behind them and reads that post who may be struggling with the same thing. So just be patient. Remember, we're getting to be a very large group now, and my moderator admin team is absolutely phenomenal. I swear, if I win the lottery one day, I'm going to pay all of them, because they are really fantastic, and they do not get paid to have people be nasty to them. So please, when you see them and they're out there helping everyone, be kind. Don't send them yucky messages because you're mad because your post got deleted. I promise you, we're not doing it to make you mad. So, oh good, Sasha posted a picture. Okay, I'm gonna go look. Okay, great. Shelly said, I lucked in by finding this live today. Thank you very, very much. You are very welcome. And like I said, after I get moved, we're going to go back to having the Friday Night Live every week. I'm going to try to do some more live sessions. We've got some great YouTube videos coming. We've got some surprises coming your way. So just keep your eyes open. We got some good stuff. So anyway, I got to go pick up the girls. Susan's going to get mad at me if I don't get out of here. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. And as always, be kind, rewind.